Are you curious about Modern Warfare 3? Excited even? But you've sensibly got questions before you split with your hard-earned cash after hearing some less than complimentary opinions? Well, during this video, I'll be letting you know the unbiased truth about if the game has delivered on its promises. Will it leave you satisfied going into Warzone 3? Or is it some slapdash cash cow complacently aiming to fleece you of your money like some foreign strip joint baiting in a drunken tourist? I know nothing of these things, by the way. So what are the three main promises we've been expecting from this game that I'm going to cover? A better multiplayer experience with faster movement and better gun mechanics to make for a more fun and fluid arcade experience, rather than a tactical style shooter where the majority of the player base are compelled to hide in corners and crouch walk around like they've all got debilitating back conditions. An exciting new series of campaign missions with the greatest hits cast ensemble combined from OG Modern Warfare 1 and 2 and Modern Warfare 2019. Even Verdansk has been brought back from the dead, here alongside the classic multiplayer maps to intravenously feed hype straight into your nostalgia centre. And talking of coming back from the dead, wave upon wave of relentless snarling flesh-eating zombies. Or is it? As we get our first go of zombies since we last saw them in 2020's Black Ops Cold War, Zombies mode is a nailed-on success with a huge cult following, if you stick to the formula. But they haven't. So have developers Treyarch saved or buried this year's offering from the Call of Duty franchise? Write down in the comments now what you are hoping for from this game, and by the end of the video you can see if it's delivering on what is important to you. There have been a few different features of Call of Duty over the years: star-studded campaigns, zombies, battle royale, and even the retro Dead Ops arcade. But at its core, multiplayer is its bread and butter. This is the mode traditionally we've all bought the game for. Get those new guns, those new 6v6 multiplayer maps, grind weapon attachments and camos, and rise through the ranks to reach those dizzying heights of prestige to lord over all your mates. Haha, look at you noob with your default camo. But this year all that changes. We're getting some new guns, some new camos, and a whole load more grinding out of XP to do. But the maps are all classic Modern Warfare 2 maps, at least initially. New maps will be releasing through the live service model Activision are going with these days, but even some of the Modern Warfare 2 maps from just this last year are already coming back before they've even left the building. Modern Warfare 2019 had great movement, but the maps were criticised for poor design and terrible spawn flipping. Modern Warfare 2 improved on a lot of the map design, but the movement was arguably pump, and in objective modes in particular, the spawn flipping played like the centre court of Wimbledon. Don't do anything crazy, bring us old maps, old movement, new gen graphics and we'll love you for it, scream the fans. And this is largely what we've been given. We've got all the classic Modern Warfare 2 maps coming through the life cycle, and we certainly have increased movement speed. Weapon handling is snappier, tac sprint lasts longer and refreshes quicker, mantling is quicker, and the Marmite of mechanics is also back, slide cancelling. These changes are likely to please everyone from the rose-skinned demons of the lobby through to your more casual player. Increased player health in combination with the movement changes have definitely led to outplayability options and an increased skill gap. But the FPS Lord giveth, and he taketh away. And what is hot on every sweat's Twitter page at the moment? SBMM. It's been around probably for as long as you've been playing the Call of Duty games, and you may never have even known about it. But with the increased skill gap, the developers are looking to protect the experience of lesser skilled players by grouping lobbies together of similar ability, meaning everyone has a fighting chance at winning every game they're in. But the downside is that fight you will. You will get stomped on less often, but you'll also have less weaker players to give you respite. Regardless of your level, there's the risk games can leave you feeling a little like Neo fighting an army of Agent Smiths. Personally, I don't think it ruins the game to the extent many people are talking about, but we certainly have less occasions where it all comes together in lobby and you end up on top. And while you won't be fodder to the lobby's resident demon, this also means less opportunity to learn from better players. Imagine if you were to train with your favourite professional sports team once a month. While it'll be a bit of a humbling experience, I promise you'll learn more in one session with them than in a month of solid play with your mates of a similar level. There are no drastic changes in the multiplayer. You won't see anything life-changing, it'll all be very familiar, even down to the HUD and in-game user interface, which are lazily identical to Modern Warfare 2, save for a new font. But is that the worst thing? In all honesty, it has all the fundamentals of a really good game. The multiplayer developers Sledgehammer have already been proven to be very committed in support for the game and listening to the voice of the fan base on social media, as demonstrated with improvements and changes they've already implemented. Rather than waiting until Season 6 for something looking like a well-polished, balanced game, it's much closer to that straight from the word go. Just don't expect to be blown away by new content. Even one of the most popular additions, the War game mode, is a resurrection from 2017's COD World War II. I'm not saying to be put off, but just know what to expect. Verdict? Promise delivered. Battlefield 2042 was arguably COD's main rival historically, like The Walking Dead's Negan to Rick Grimes. Perhaps like me, you enjoyed the balance between these two titans, but more recently Battlefield 2042 launched without a campaign. With a weak multiplayer, to put it kindly, having no campaign left a hollow shell of a game that many rushed to get refunds for. Fortunately, Call of Duty have learnt from this mistake and produced a single player campaign. Now that's the good news. Here's the bad. In short, it's short. It's pretty flipping short. You can come back after the video and click the thumbnail to check out my main walkthrough series if you want to see any of it, but I completed it on regular difficulty without trying to rush it in under 5 hours, and this has proven to be a very typical experience for many. Some of the missions are great, they follow the tried and tested linear story as you tackle tricky situations through the first person perspective of many of the game's main characters. Of course, with the odd AC-130 gunship mission thrown in. Yes, in MW3 you do get to blow the heck out of an entire army base with an Xbox controlled howitzer strapped to a transport aircraft, but sadly it's somehow still a little soulless and lacking atmosphere. God knows how they've managed that. That genuinely is a skill. Then there are a good number of open world style missions. As the player you have your mission objectives, and beyond that it's up to you. It's proper sandbox stuff, you can go and do whatever you want within the boundaries of decent sized maps. In theory it sounds great, but in reality these missions are a bit simplistic, and certainly in regular difficulty you can pretty much just run and gun your way around blitzing all the bots like, well, you know, bots. Unlike many, I took my time and attempted the missions in the spirit of the game, at least attempting to remain a bit stealthy or tactical in places. I reckon these missions would definitely fare better being played on higher difficulty settings to make them feel more of a challenge. The campaign dabbles with meaningful story and characters, with some good acting in the cutscenes, but overall it's just a bit lacking. Is it an adequate tribute to the heartbreaking scenes as we watch Shepard betray your team back in the original game series? No, not at all. Is it better than Battlefield 2042 having no campaign whatsoever? Absolutely. It's short, but it's still definitely enjoyable. Verdict? Not quite delivered. In what otherwise is a largely uncontroversial game, the developers have gone bold in their decision making to not only ditch future support for the popular DMZ in favour of zombies, but they've also done away with the traditional round-based playstyle in favour of an open-world extraction experience. With all this taking place on the new large Battle Royale map Urzikstan, albeit with an eerie zombie colour palette. Initially, this upset many people. It's somewhat understandable, zombies was hugely popular, and like they say, if it's not broken, then don't fix it. But they've taken a huge gamble, and my gut is that it's going to pay off for them. In all honesty, I personally think Modern Warfare Zombies, or MWZ, is an absolute game changer, and could be the thing that sets Modern Warfare 3 out from the crowd. Now, wait. Before you all click off and get onto Amazon or Steam to buy the game and then promptly come back here to roast me for false info, I need to tell you that as I made this video, MWZ is still pretty buggy. It is being affected by server issues, crashes, objectives not tracking, and also some players getting forcibly yoinked out of their own missions to join other players in the main story. These all provide real frustration, and I don't want to hide any of that from you. However, hardcore fans of the mode, casuals and newcomers alike, have been so caught up in the fun of MWZ, they've been persisting with it regardless. It's all player versus experience, meaning the 3-player teams all share the map together, but are unable to fight each other. It's strictly humans versus zombies. It's designed with a great progressive nature to the difficulty in terms of the zombies and monsters, as well as moderate array of tiered missions that will cater to all experience levels. There is so much choice in what to do, how you do it, and as long as they support the mode with new missions, stories and events, this could genuinely be as popular as Battle Royale with a large part of the community. I'm really looking forward to the mode getting some refinement and committing to this journey. I suspect many of you would too. Verdict? Over-delivered. As we bring all this together to decide if this is worth buying, what you may or may not know is that the game was once planned to be released as a downloadable content, i.e. a paid bolt-on to Modern Warfare 2. And this, I think, is where the main concern lies for many people who work so hard for their money. No one wants to be scammed. You just want to know you're getting what you paid for. So, is that the case? Is this standalone AAA title worth the price? The answer is yes and no. On its own, it is not recreating the glory of OG Modern Warfare. It's not developed or polished enough. But I'm going to contradict that by saying that unless you are a super casual or on a really tight budget, I think this is still worth it for the experience and when it fits in and integrates with Warzone. You can have all the fun this game brings all 3 fairly casual elements of it, and then also use it to play with the new weapons, grinding camos, unlocking attachments and putting them to work in Warzone. For me, MW3 multiplayer is like the cold shower outside the Warzone sweaty sauna. The sauna is what we all go for, but if you stayed in there too long, you're not going to be doing too well. Take a break, cool off with some chill on multiplayer, or even have some warm up. Have a night off completely and go and hunt zombies for the night with your pals in what is just a relatively relaxing experience by being chased by hundreds of zombies that want to eat your brains. But I think that says more about Vondel than anything else. I think it would be fair at a reduced price, but if you shop around you can already find it a fair bit cheaper than the launch price. It's all down to you and what you're looking for, but I think for many MW3 is good enough and is worth buying. I hope this has been useful to you all. If you enjoyed the content, hitting subscribe is a great way to make sure you can find your way back to the channel for more Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone content. Thanks for watching, but for now, I'm out.